Good morning, everyone. We are going live again with Sports Talk with an Attitude. This is our 15th episode, and our 15th or 16th episode, and we're moving right along. Today, as always, we have featured The Book is Open. He's co-host of the show, and it's always good to see him on. And we want to thank everybody for hopping on. We want to make sure that you follow us on Facebook, follow us on Curtech Inc. YouTube channel, and listen to our podcast that is being played on all podcasts. I cannot talk today. All podcast platforms. I am getting calls in, and people are listening. So I want to thank you. So look for the Power Hour with CP, and then look for Sports Talk with an Attitude. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Good morning. Good morning. The book is open, baby. We have a lot to talk about. I'm excited. Let me get you off of mute real quick, and we can get this thing rolling. Well, while the book is open, while he's working on his sound, get you off of mute there.
There we go. You can hear me now.
There you go. Now that's
Sorry about that. That was my bad. I didn't realize I was on mute.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am outstanding, brother. How you doing this morning?
Man, you know what? Here we go.
There we go.
Get this thing on. Now I am ready.
Yeah.
Man, we got some basketball to talk about.
Got a little basketball, baby. Little something going on here.
Huh? How about that?
Look like to me, boy. Look like the Clippers could be the game, could be the team. I really thought the Phoenix was going to win at home the other night.
Well, how about them Clippers? I tell you now, that Paul George, is he
playing?
Is he molding your heart? I mean, it's like, is he any good? Is he great? But I'm telling you what, he's doing his thing out there. He got
he is
on an emotional roller coaster.
Right. But he's playing his butt off this time.
Playing his heart out. Playing his heart out. That man, what? 41 points in game 5?
Right. Well, when you lose Kawhi Leonard, that means he got to step up. So he's done a good job.
Got to step up a little bit, man.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled in some good numbers. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he did.
I just want to mention, I want to talk about his stats, right? But I want to talk about one play he did when he broke, what's the guy? Not Paul George. He broke Paul George. We're talking about when he broke Chris Paul's ankles.
Oh, okay.
Hey, ain't got the 3-pointer. He broke CP3's ankles, boy. And CP3 went down hard, fell all the way out of bounds from the 3-point line.
Paul George, a bad boy.
Paul George is a bad boy. I almost got them names mixed up. Paul George and Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, but he broke his ankles hard.
Both of them got 2 first names.
What's going on with that?
Both of them got 2 first names, Paul George and Chris Paul.
Well. What do you know? What do you know? Yep, so he the game, man, and 41 points.
Yeah, he did.
And
he put up 41 on them.
How many minutes? 41. 41 minutes.
How many?
It says 41 minutes.
Yeah.
41 minutes, 41 points.
Yeah, that's a point a minute, baby.
That's a point a minute. That's a point a minute. So so he's really shaping up. So 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals.
Okay.
He was 8 for 8. So he had 3 for 6. He had 3 6-pointers.
How many? What's his free throws?
8 for 8.
Okay. Right. See, he's a good free throw shooter.
So that's amazing. So he's 100% at the line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He should be.
So I guess he's one of the best as far as a free throw, if I can get that right.
Yeah, he is in terms of this series. Now, if we looked at the whole series, he's missed a couple, free throws, but, he got his team back where he needs to be. It's 3-2. So they went to Phoenix and won, which they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tonight, he got to win at home.
Got to win at home tonight.
Because if Phoenix wins tonight, it's over. This is a closeout game for Phoenix.
Right. But do you think they can do it?
I don't think they're gonna be able to close them out in LA. I'm really kind of disappointed in Phoenix. I thought they were gonna step up. But you know what though, Curtis? The thing is that when I think through the Phoenix team and I look at the Clipper team, Phoenix is a good young team. Right. And the optimum word there is young. Even though they have a CP3 as the veteran leadership stabilizer, they as a team are still very young. And the way the NBA has always worked is you got to take this thing in steps. You got to get your heart broken one year when you think you're on the verge. And so that has happened to the Clippers. It has never happened to Phoenix. So this could be the year that Phoenix gets close, gets their heart broken, and then LA moves on. So tonight's game is going to be very pivotal. If they don't win tonight, I think Clippers will beat them in Phoenix for Game 7.
Hey, my prediction is still I'm taking the Clippers, right?
Yeah. Oh, I could understand that.
But that who was I going to say? Booker.
Devin Booker.
I think Devin's going to have a stellar night tonight.
Well, if he has a big game tonight, then they may beat the Clippers. You can't let him, because he's the kind of guy that if he gets off well, the rest of the team kind of goes with that flow. Chris Paul plays a little bit better because he knows that at any point, if I kick it out to Devin, he'll hit the shot. So if Devin gets going good, it's going to be difficult for the Clippers.
Yeah, Devin. I don't know why I said Devin, but Devin. You're right. Yeah, he had 31?
Something like that. But it's one of those games that you playing at home, they needed to win that home game.
Right. 31 points, 43 minutes. He was 9 for 11. Free throws.
Okay.
That was 81.8% at the. Can somebody say free throw line for me? At the
free throw line.
The free throw line.
The free throw line. I've been saying it for 50 years, so.
And he got 4 rebounds.
That's good.
For some reason, I don't know why I can't say. Maybe that's one of those ones that everybody has some words that they can't say, I guess. From my understanding.
Yeah, they do.
I guess it was
free. It's how much you say it and how much you've practiced saying it. I've said free throw line for so long that it's second nature to me.
I gotta get the F and the T. I keep wanting to say F and the F. Free throw. It's free throw.
Right. Yeah. It's a free throw at the basket.
There you go. That's
or you could call it a foul shot.
Maybe I'll work on that. I'll call it a foul shot.
Yeah, same thing.
So he made 9 out of 11 for his foul shots.
Yeah, that's easy to say, right? Foul shot.
That's it, and he was 9 from 22 from the field.
Now that's difficult right there.
9 for 22.
9 for 20. Yeah.
You got to shoot shots to make.
You got to shoot shots. You got to make shots. When you get to this point in the playoffs, you got to make shots, boy. It's a shot making league.
It's a shot making league. It may not be much of a defense playing league, but defense still will win the games and win them championships, right?
Yeah. See, Booker didn't have that good of shooting night. 9 out of 22 is only 41%.
There you go. That's it, man. You're good with that math too. Okay.
Well, I got a calculator.
That helps. But beautiful thing about Devin's performance, like you said, it helps with Chris Paul's performance.
No doubt.
And he came in with 22, game 5.
Okay.
And 36 minutes. That's really good. Let me see here.
How many assists did he have?
8 assists.
See, that's a little low for Chris Paul in the playoffs.
8 assists, 3 rebounds,
Mm-hmm.
helping out, and 100% at the foul line.
How many did he shoot?
6 for 6.
Okay.
You know, those one-pointers, they add up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because those are shots that you get to take without nobody playing defense on you.
It's so true. Nobody's playing defense if you really contribute.
And as I always say, Kirk, don't forget, it's the same shot they've been shooting since the 8th grade, since the 7th grade. 15 foot away, the basket is 10 foot high. For all the 7th graders and all the professionals and everybody in between. International, it's the same 15 foot, same 10 foot basket.
I'm gonna ask something crazy, and I don't know if anybody ever asked this question before. You know, I know when I played my little bit of high school basketball, and a little bit of intramural sports and stuff like that, I wasn't the best foul shot shooter.
Okay.
But I noticed if I step back 2 steps, my percentage got higher. So my question would be, you're supposed to be up to the line. Now, well,
anywhere in that circle.
Very interesting. So I would step back. I saw people move over to the right, move over to the left. So now, could it be because it's a free throw? What would be the issue if they made it to where you can actually shoot that from anywhere on the court? If you're
Can't do that.
A pointer, it's a free throw.
Right. But you got to have some uniformity to the game. So we can't have somebody shooting free throws from 19 feet and somebody shooting them from 10 feet and somebody from 12 feet. So they make it uniform. It's the same right in front of the basket. Now, when I was in college, I had a guy that played with me in college that stood off to the left. See, if you face a basket, he stood all the way to the left side. He was a right-hander because his ball always kind of floated a little bit. Right. So he didn't stand directly in front of the basket. You know, if you think about, I think it wasn't Chet Walker. I'm trying to remember the guy that played at Philadelphia. He played point guard for Philadelphia way back in the day. He used to shoot a jump shot from the free throw line. You know, and so anywhere in that half circle, that semicircle where the line intersects there, right? You can stand anywhere in there and shoot that free throw.
Interesting. That's interesting. I mean, factual, yes. But the interesting part that makes me think when you say that is the front of the rim. Could that be the issue with why people don't have a higher field goal? I mean, a free throw percentage, because when you shoot from the side, you can hit from the sides. You can hit 3-point, but you do not see a whole lot of people stopping at the top of the key, shooting that 3-pointer or shooting a lot of shots from the top of the key. Is that the front of that rim that causes the issue psychologically?
No, the rim is the same height. It's 10 foot high.
It's 10 feet. Yeah, just 10 feet, right?
The thing that would surprise you though, Kurt, I understand what you're saying, but the thing that would surprise you, if you got a shot chart, and they do this all the time in basketball, you could actually see that there are more shots that shot from the front than it is from the sides, because it's an easier shot. You have more of a background to look at. You got the backboard and everything. When you shoot it from the side, all you see is rim.
Right, all you see is rim.
Right. Now from the front, you see the rim, you see the backboard, you see the square. You get a little bit more better with a depth perception. So a shot chart would show you that a lot more shots are taken around that circle facing the basket than from the corners, because that's a tougher shot from the corner.
Yeah, the corner is a tougher shot. I'm just saying from the tip down towards the corner, where's the most of the shots taken? Is it is it say where the foul line is off to the side of that?
Yeah, that's the elbow.
In the elbow area.
Yeah.
Most people shoot the most from there.
In the elbow, yes, and around that area. That's what most, if you did a shot chart. Now, it really does depend on the player. Now, you take a player like Steph Curry, his shot chart ain't going to be that around there. His shot chart going to be further out, you know. But for the most part, most players, you know, that's why they call that the mid-range shot. The mid-range shot is inside the three-point line. You know, 15 to 18 foot is called the mid-range shot. So there are a lot of shooters that can't shoot the long jumper, but they can make that mid-range. I'll give you a perfect example of a guy. He's a great player. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. That's how good he is. His name is Carmelo Anthony. He's never been a good three-point shooter, but he's got a great mid-range game. He can hit a three-pointer, but his game is a mid-range game.
Well, I think his game is kind of next season is going to be around that oak a little bit more than he's doing right now.
Well, he's probably on his way out. He may retire this summer. We may hear about him retiring this summer.
Do you know how many years he's been in the league? He's put his time in. Melo used to be.
He's been in the league 18 years. He came in the same year LeBron came in.
Okay. I mean, he was bad. I don't think in the beginning he got as much credit as he should have.
I think that's when he got, well, again, if you look at his numbers, he got 25,000 points. You can't come into the NBA, get 25,000 points and not be a good player. Can't happen.
Can't happen. Yeah, I thought Melo was one of the best.
When he was at the height of his powers, which means he was in his prime, he was one of the probably top 5 players in the league, especially from an offensive standpoint. No question.
Most definitely. And he was one of the greats, but now I think it's time for him to wind down and enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Yep, it's that time of the season, that time of your career. Mm-hmm. You know, he don't have it to be able to go out and give you that every night again, but on a given night with the right circumstances, he can still play really well. It's just that he ain't gonna be the number one option on a championship team.
Wow. So we're looking at what you're thinking. You think it's going to be the Suns, or you think it's going to be the Clippers? You really think it's going to be?
I tell you what, I think, my opinion now all hinges on tonight's game. If the Suns don't close them out tonight in LA, I don't know that they can go back home after losing 2 in a row and win another game at home. I think the Suns got to win tonight, or if not, I think then the Clippers will be on their way. Yeah. And then in the East, right now, I gotta say it's got to be the Hawks, because if Giannis don't play, I don't see Milwaukee beating them without Giannis.
Hey,
even if they don't have Trey.
Even if they don't have Trey, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You know why? I think that was a strategy. I think that was a psychological strategy.
What?
Knowing that the Hawks had beat Milwaukee earlier in the season without Trey. So now Trey can't play in this game, and they beat Milwaukee again. When I heard when Trey was out, I was like, oh my world. We're going to get on Sports Talk, and I'm not going to hear the end of it, because Hawks might get blown out.
Yeah, I thought that they would. I thought Milwaukee would come out with a lot more energy, a lot more, let's get these guys out of here and be done with this thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? And go back home and close them out. But Milwaukee didn't come out with that sense of urgency.
No.
They didn't come out with that sense of, we got to stay on top of them. They came out and played a little loosey-goosey. I mean, Giannis didn't even score in the first quarter. You know, stuff like that.
Right.
Which, to me, that was the kind of game that coach should have been saying, let's get our big guy off first. Let's make sure that Giannis gets going, because once he gets going, the whole team can roll. Right. But if we're not doing anything particular to get Giannis off, the team is not playing. And Atlanta came with a lot of energy.
They came everybody off the bench.
Everybody.
Like, everybody was ready.
Everybody.
Incredible.
They were focused. They were dialed in. Get all these cliches if you want to use them. Oh boy, I'm having a little bit of issue here.
That's your video went out just a tad for a second. So they had a lot of the top performers last night. Lou Williams pulled in 21.
Mm-hmm.
Clint Capella, 15. Herder, 15. And Bogdanovich, 20.
Right.
They came ready to play.
Yes.
They put on such a performance at home that
right. And so that's the issue. Can they go and duplicate that on the road?
And then did you see what I was saying psychologically, right? How they beat Milwaukee by not having Clay in. Did you see Clay on the sidelines?
Oh, Trey?
Trey.
Yeah.
What did I say, Clay?
Yeah.
Did you see Trey on the sidelines?
Yeah.
He looked like he had some little bit of energy to go.
Well, that's different on the sideline than having to be on the floor and having somebody bump you while you're dribbling. And
that's true.
And let me just tell you, the reality is that if he got a bum ankle, if you don't think for 1 second that ain't nobody gonna come and bump that ankle on purpose and stuff like that.
Yep.
Right.
Somebody
that's all a part of the gamesmanship in the league.
Yes, sir. Somebody would have stepped on his foot.
If not stepped on it, they would have bumped it. They'd have made sure that he felt, let me check that ankle out. Which one was it?
Which one was it? Somebody would walk in, begin to give him a hand. How's that left ankle? He'd be like, it's my right one. It's okay.
Okay.
Right one. It's the right one.
Right. That's right. That's exactly how it happens. And so, Atlanta did their job.
Right.
They stepped up and they won that game. Now, again, there's still 3 games left in this series. Hello.
Oh yeah.
And because of it, that means Atlanta got to go. They got to win in Milwaukee. They got to come home and win, or they got to go back and win in Milwaukee again. So for them to win the series now, which is best 2 out of 3, 2 of those games are going to be in Milwaukee.
Hey, how many games you say? How many games did I say? How many games did we say it was going to go to this series?
I'm not sure. What's the board say over there?
Somebody said 6-game series with Hawks winning 2 games. So I think that was the book was open and said it was going to be a 6-game series.
Okay,
games, and
nothing has changed with that.
Right now, you're on point. I think it's going to be 7 with the Hawks taking it.
The Hawks winning Game 7 in Milwaukee.
There you go. Why not? Why
no,
not?
I agree with you. The way they're playing. Now, what that says to me, though, if the Hawks win the series,
yes, sir,
and the Clippers beat Phoenix, it's going to be difficult.
Is it?
But now, if Phoenix wins the series and they play against the Hawks, that's going to be a great series because both teams are young and neither one of them have ever been there before. So that's going to be, I'd rather see that. I'd rather see Atlanta against Phoenix because I think that would be a really good series.
Gotcha. Okay.
Both teams are really young, got a lot of energy, good coaching, got 2 brothers coaching the teams. That'd be great.
Young against Booker, huh?
Yeah.
That's what it'd be.
Yeah. Giannis. Yeah, young. Yeah, Trey Young. And against Devin Booker. And of course, Chris Paul will play a major role in that regard.
He sure will. And Chris Paul, he doesn't have a ring yet, right?
No, he does not.
So I really think it's the Hawks' time. And no matter what, if it's their time, it's their time. I think it's the Hawks' time.
What makes you think that?
For them to get this far.
What makes you think it's the Hawks? What makes you think it's the Hawks' time?
The way they're playing, especially after last night, they were down 2-1. They came in without the number 1 player and won that game. They actually got through. They beat the number 1 seed in the NBA. They moved on to the next round.
In the East. In the East. Number 1 seed in the East.
Number 1 seed in the East. Thank you for correcting me on that. The number 1 seed in the East, they beat Philly. Then they went on to beat, who's that?
They beat the Knicks first.
After Philly.
No, before Philly.
Oh, no, I was saying after Philly.
After Philly, they're playing right now after Philly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they're playing Milwaukee, right?
Right.
So they're going to beat Milwaukee, but they beat the Knicks, like you said. I was hoping Mo was on here. How they came in and beat his boys.
Oh,
New York.
The Nets.
Yeah.
Well, Milwaukee beat the Nets.
Milwaukee beat the Nets, but they beat New York.
Right. See, the thing is that up until now, Milwaukee has been the healthiest team in the playoffs. And now that Giannis is hurt, we got to see how they're going to respond without their injured player. Because we see what the Clippers are doing without Kawhi Leonard. They're playing pretty good. They got a Paul George that can step up and take the load.
Right.
You know, you saw what the Nets did with their two stars being down. Kevin Durant, he stepped up. He tried to carry the load, but he had two starters down versus one. So now Trae Young was out. Giannis went down. And if neither one of those two guys play in the next game, that's what's going to be interesting. It's going to be the second tier guys against the second tier guys with no Giannis and no Trae.
And who do you think is better?
Under that circumstance, the way the Hawks is playing, I think the Hawks may be a little bit better.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they say Milwaukee should be better, but they haven't proved it. So until you prove it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean,
who else do they have?
Well, but Chris Middleton is a heck of a player. You see what he could do. He got 20 in the fourth quarter in game 3, and they won that game. Then they got some other players. They got Drew Holiday, who has been an all-star player in the past. They got PJ Tucker, who is a heck of a defensive player, can make threes occasionally. So they got some players. Right. And then if you look at the Hawks roster, outside of Trae, they're the same way. They got Bogdanovich, who can make some shots. Kevin Huerter, young cat, went to University of Maryland, can make a few shots. The thing they do have is they got Lou Williams, who was a six-man of the year, perennial.
Right.
And so I think he's won that award 2 or 3 different times. So that's a heck of an award to win. When you win six-man of the year in the NBA, that means that if you could have been a starter anywhere in this league.
That's why I think the Hawks, without the two main for both teams, the Hawks, they have more firepower.
I think they might.
They have more off the bench. Now,
again, the role players, the bench players, they don't generally play as well on the road as they do at home. Right. So last night, they played great at home. We got to see if they can come with that same amount of energy tomorrow night up in Milwaukee.
I think they're fired up. I think they're ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
I really think
they fired up, but it's different than fired up is different than being when you walk into the arena and everybody's cheering against you, as a role player, that's a little bit different. The stars, they got a mentality, I'm a star wherever I go.
There you go. So that's so hopefully Trae comes back.
Yeah.
And we will see.
I hope Giannis comes back too. I hope he's not hurt bad.
I hope he doesn't come back.
Yeah. Why you don't want him to come back? You don't want to beat him full strength?
No, man. I want this dream to stay alive here in Atlanta.
We have to wake you up from that dream, brother.
You got me cheering for one Atlanta team, so I want this dream to stay alive.
Yeah, you know what? I heard something on the Sports Center. Well, actually, it was Mike. I think it was Get Up with Mike Greenberg this morning. Is that the first game of the preseason this year is the Hall of Fame game, and that which is every summer, and that's Pittsburgh against Dallas.
That's gonna be a beautiful thing, right?
Well, it's preseason.
It's preseason.
You know how preseason go. The starters may play only one quarter. They may not play much at all. I don't even know if I'm sure Big Ben will play some and Dak, but they ain't gonna play a whole lot. That first preseason game, they're not gonna play a lot.
I think Big Ben's gonna be out there. I think what we're gonna do is what we always do: go out there and show and prove. The Steelers, I'm talking about, go out there and show and prove, and let Dallas know that hey, This may be preseason. Maybe a
Which
Hall
don't
of
mean nothing. Preseason don't mean nothing, don't count for nothing, don't
Fame.
have no bearing on nothing.
I think we're going to let them boys from Dallas know that, hey, this is what you can expect the rest of the season.
And if they don't win, then what? It's just preseason.
Oh yeah, well, you know.
And I'm saying that before they even play. It don't make a hill of beans because they don't even play each other this season. So whatever you do with the Cowboys in this preseason Hall of Fame game, it don't say nothing to the Cowboys because we don't play y'all no more. You got to talk about the rest of your schedule.
I got to put up the schedule. We didn't get y'all once.
You don't play us at all during the regular season. We played last year.
I need to look at that our new schedule. I was hoping that we was going to be down here and coming down to Atlanta. But I think after that whipping we put on them, 4 years ago, they don't want us back.
Well, it don't go by that. It's go by the league. The league sets the schedule, and the schedule is really this year. You know, we got an extra game. This year, we got 17 games on the schedule.
So they don't do it by butt whippings?
Well, the way they do it is you rotate every year. You know, the NFC East will play against the AFC East, for instance. And then you play against all the people in your division and you play against one other NFC division. Mm-hmm. And so that right there will get you, I think, about 14 games, something like that. 10, 12, yeah, that'll get you 8. And so, you know, it's difficult. You know, you got your 6 teams within your division. Right. Then you got four games against a AFC division and 4 games against the NFC division. So that's 6. Now that's 14 games. So the league really only has 3 other games to play with on your schedule because everybody in your division will play that basic 14 games. And then depending on where you finish, if you had a bad season, then they're going to match you up against other teams that had bad seasons. That's how you determine who has the toughest schedule or the softest schedule. It really depends on who you playing in the division this year, and then those other extra games that the NFL will give you in place, you know, to cover your schedule.
Oh, so that's interesting. I didn't know that they kind of padded the schedule if you didn't have a good season prior to.
Oh yeah. If you were a playoff team, only way you don't play other playoff teams in that other 3 games is that you got to cover, you know, somebody else. But generally, if you say you're the Jets and you only won 3 games, they're not. If you don't play that other division with a great team in it, you don't get to play against those teams in the regular season because the way they set it up is that they're trying to get you to be on the come up. And if you always playing against good teams and you're a bad team, you're not going to win those games. So you don't really have much of a chance. So they set it up in a rotation.
But I often hear when people talk about the Steelers, how they a lot of people are saying, not everybody, people would say that the Steelers have an easy schedule. They had an easy schedule. And it's not like they ever came in last to where they would have to be given an easy schedule or be padded, but you know.
Well, it just depends. Now, for instance, the Steelers are in the AFC North, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it just depends. If the Steelers play against the AFC West, that means everybody in that division is going to play all the teams in the AFC West. That means you got to play Kansas City, you got to play the Chargers, you got to play the Raiders, and you got to play Denver. Well, Cleveland has to play all those teams too. Baltimore has to play all those. It just depends on whether or not you play them on the road or play them at home will help determine if you have an easier schedule. But then if you play the NFC West, then you got to play against the Seattle Seahawks, against the Cardinals out west in Arizona, against San Francisco, and against the Rams. That means Cleveland got to play all those teams. Baltimore plays them, but it depends on whether you play them at home, on the road, when you play them. Did you play back-to-back road games, or is it back-to-back home games? A lot of things go into whether or not you have an easier schedule or a tougher schedule. So that's the same for everybody in your division. The team that didn't win no games in your division, they got to play all them same teams out west, just like you, if you won the division.
So what do you think? You think Tom Brady's going to come back? Is he going to be a comeback kid one more time?
He ain't gonna. Then I don't think Tampa's gonna win the Super Bowl. If that's what you're asking.
That's exactly what I'm asking.
Nah, I don't think they will. When's the last time we had somebody to repeat as Super Bowl winners?
Hey, but he has proven himself to be something extra special.
Right, but it takes more than him to win the Super Bowl, brother. You know, this is football. See, in basketball, if you got a great player, he may be able to elevate you to a championship. In football, one player, I mean, there's so many things that can happen.
Well, I know he brought a lot of people along with him. I know.
A lot of energy. A lot of people wanted to play with him, but that was that year. I think they called lightning in the bottle. I don't think that, because keep in mind, this next season, every game for all 17 games that Tampa plays, it's a Super Bowl for the other team. So they're going to play, they're going to get their best effort every time because you're playing against the Super Bowl champion. So even if you were the lowest team on their schedule with no win, you still going to muster up to try to play your very best against the team that was the Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So true.
So winning back-to-back, that's why winning back-to-back Super Bowls is so difficult.
Right. Because if I could go out there and beat Brady, you're right, that was their Super Bowl.
Right.
Like every struggling team.
But see, Curtis, let me tell you something. This is the one thing you also have to admit. Teams like Pittsburgh, teams like Dallas, teams like New England, like San Francisco, whenever those teams play, the other team is trying to play their best game because it's a notch in their belt to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. No matter how good a team the Steelers got, even if they got a great team or a bad team, the team that plays against Pittsburgh always give their best effort because that's a notch in their belt to say, hey, that's a top-notch franchise. The same thing with the Cowboys, same thing with New England. When New England plays, no matter how good they are, everybody going to put their best effort forward because that's a notch in their belt to try to beat that franchise.
Well, not New England anymore, but. You know, not New England anymore.
Oh, yeah, still. You think the reason, I guarantee you, last year, so many teams said, we got a chance to beat them. They don't have Brady. Everybody wanted to beat New England last year because this is our chance to beat New England because they done beat everybody so much over the years. Anytime you get a chance to beat them, that's what you want to do.
I think it'd take a little bit out of it since Brady wasn't there.
Well, it may have, but I'm telling you what, New England is who been beating them. New England is who won the 6 championships. It's New England who has won 9 or 10 or 12 division champions. And I guarantee you, had they been in one of them other divisions, like with Pittsburgh or with Dallas or some of these other divisions, they wouldn't have won 10 in a row like that.
Right. You still get bragging rights on beating the coach.
Say what now?
I said you still get bragging rights beating the Patriots. You beat the coach.
Oh, yeah. No question.
No question. We're like, okay, now was it the coach or was it the players that actually got them to where they were that made them really great?
I don't think you can separate it. I think I don't see how you can say it was just the players because the coach is the one that made the decision to put the players in the position that they were in. If they had made different decisions, had different players, they may not have won. So I don't think you can take anything away from the coach at all, especially in football.
No. Well, the Patriots didn't do. They didn't finish up the way they thought they were going to finish up without Brady. So.
Well, yeah, but okay. So 1 year, Brady leaves 1 year. They haven't settled on a new quarterback. Cam gets COVID during the middle of the season. They didn't have somebody ready to go. They had a lot of players that opted out that were great players that didn't play for New England last year because of COVID. So there was a lot of things that went into it that nobody talks about because they said, well, Brady left and that was the end of it. But there was a perfect storm that all these things happened with COVID and all this other stuff that allowed New England to fall like they did. Not that they wouldn't have fallen without Brady, but the fact is that still those other factors make a big difference, in my opinion. As I open up the book and I give you this wisdom,
yes, sir.
That's my opinion.
And that's what we're looking for. We want that book to always be open.
Book is open. And I'm just saying, I think coaching, particularly in the NFL, as well as the players, make a huge difference.
Okay, and that's in just about everybody in every sport, right?
Well, yeah, just about. I think
track.
the one that may not matter as much is probably Major League Baseball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Woo. I don't know.
Well, let me say it to you like this.
Baseball is much, but those coaching.
Let me say it like this.
The
managers. The manager in baseball. Think about the guy. He's over the team, right? He manages the baseball.
Right.
The manager in baseball don't make as much as college football coach make.
Oh wow.
And you can tell how important a person is to the organization, how much they get paid.
Wow, their salaries are that low, huh?
Well, they don't get paid like football and basketball coaches.
But baseball players get paid more than
baseball players.
Yes.
The players make it, but the manager don't make that kind of. You don't hear no baseball manager making $5 million a year. If you do, he's a manager that's been around for years and years, like maybe a Tony La Russa or somebody like that. But you got a guy that's got his second Major League Baseball job as a manager. He ain't making that kind of money. He may be making $1 million.
Whew. That's it?
But $1 million is a lot of money.
I wouldn't take that job for just $1 million.
Yeah, you would.
Stand there and watch baseball all day long.
Man, if they call you up, you got to call right now while we're on the air and they say, we'll give you $1 million to come and manage the Atlanta Braves. You'd lead the podcast right now to go get that $1 million.
No, I wouldn't. Just $1 million? No. That as a signing bonus, maybe.
$1 million more than you got.
Just about right. I do have like
how much you got? Even if you got 10 million, if they give you another $1 million, that's still $1 million more than you had.
I just checked my account and I got like $35 in there.
So they want to offer you $1 million. You thinking twice about turning it down?
You know I wouldn't.
I know it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'd have to take a little more. That'd have to be a guarantee because I get out there and like
all the managers who check contracts, they all guaranteed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'd have to have me something like that because I get out there and like, what game is this again? Who's on? I'd be like Lauren Hardy. Who's on first?
That's right. So first, what's on second?
No. What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
No.
Third base. However that went.
That's right.
So who's pitching? Yes, exactly.
No, who's on first?
No, who's on first? What?
Yes.
No, who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third.
Yes, I don't know who's on third, but who's on first? Who's pitching? No, who ain't pitching? Who's on first? I know that routine.
Yeah, it seems like it. I thought I knew a little bit of it.
Yeah, I remember that routine.
Track and field. You watch any track and field?
Man. I watch the track and field, man. I watch these sisters run the hurdles, man. They got a sister that run these hurdles, boy.
Hey.
Homegirl is on track, boy.
Let me tell you, yes, indeed. What interesting that you said about that, it used to be all about the men's track and field, the 100, the hurdles, the 200.
Right.
The more when you hear conversations, when I hear conversations about the Olympics, they're talking about the women in sprints, the women's in the hurdles.
I've only seen a few of the men's races. I've seen more of the ladies' races than I have the men.
Because Usain Bolt's not in it. There's no big name that I can really think of.
Well, Usain Bolt wouldn't be trying out for the American Olympic team anyway. He's trying out in Jamaica.
Right.
Yeah. So think about this. This is just for the American Olympic team.
So you're talking about the American side. Okay.
Right. Right.
in Olympics
Now,
in general.
I think is Usain Bolt, is he gonna run in the Olympics? Is he gonna,
He didn't
or did he retire?
He retired.
He did?
His last race, he pulled up with a hammy, and that was a wrap. That was some years back.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that he had given it up. I thought he was gonna try to win another gold this year.
No. His heart's probably in it, but his mind, but his legs
Your
are
body.
that body. When that says no, it is no.
Yep.
No,
if your body says no, that's the end of it.
We were talking on, I have a broadcast, Cousins Corner, and we were talking about race relations and how the Asian and Black community gets along. And it was just in all relations with all different races. We were talking about that. But then we were talking about going to the Olympics. You know, it's a lot of people of color who's going to be going to the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
Competing in Japan. So, you know, it was a joke. It's like, it's going to be us against them.
Well, you know, you start thinking about athletic. Yeah. You start thinking about athletics and things like that. You know, the Lord blessed everybody with certain things. And there's certain of us He's blessed with athletic ability, physical traits of athletic ability.
Yes, sir.
Now,
so all that running paid off. It passed down to all of our genes.
Right. Now, you won't see but a few of us, one or two here and there that's in swimming. We ain't going to be moving a lot of water.
No, we didn't, because we didn't swim across the Atlantic.
We ain't gonna be going on the second platform and doing platform diving.
Because you notice nobody tried to swim back across the Atlantic, right?
Yeah. So it just depends on, you know, the competition and you know, I actually on Monday I had a doctor's appointment on Monday with my cardiologist. And his son is a swimmer, you know, and I've been keeping up with his son's career and stuff like that. His son won the state championship for, I think it was 100-meter freestyle.
African-American young man?
Nope.
Oh.
Little white kid, yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'm saying. There's certain things that we do.
Right.
And certain things we don't do. We do some swimming, not a lot of it.
So I wonder why in sports we're not that big in swimming.
I think some of it has to do with parents.
Are we afraid of the water?
No, I don't think that at all. I think it's our background, our history, and some of it has to do with parents. If you got parents that maybe were into swimming, then you know you have a child, you push them. If there's a pool nearby, you get them involved in the swimming program. Right. And if they really take to it, then you keep them swimming. But by the same token, you know, that little kid, because I know the size of my doctor, he might get to be 5'8" at some point in his life. He may not ever make it to 5'8" or 5'9". You know, so it ain't like he's gonna go out and play a bunch of basketball, a bunch of football, and you know, he certainly could do baseball, but he fell into swimming, and so he's a swimmer. You know, he likes it, right. And you know, a lot of the time for us, we don't have those opportunities because when you do swimming, the one thing I do know for sure is that the practice sessions for swimmers are generally at 5 a.m. If you got a pool, you got a high school team that practices swimming at your pool. And so that means mom and dad, somebody's gonna have to get up, get that kid to the pool by 5, let him do his practice, and then drop him off and go to work.
And you know something, it's so true. And what's so interesting, you said that, and it made me partly remember something. I was stationed somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was when I was in the Navy. And we had a fitness program. And it was early in the morning, and I don't remember who all was there, but I'm looking to the camera here. But we would go about 5 o'clock and do water drills, and part of it was like scuba diving and putting on equipment. You know, I was staying underwater for whoever, you know, how long.
Right.
The other, but it was, hey, we got to go to the pool today, or we're going to the pool today, and working on just different stuff. And it was early. Everything else we did, whatever else was like later on in the day.
Right.
But that was early in the morning, water. Interesting.
Yep. Early in the morning.
Early in the
Because
morning.
you get the most rest at night. So you want your body to be the most rested when you get in the water, because water wears you out.
Right.
So if you go all day and then you go to practice in the evenings after you spend all day on your feet doing everything and all that, you won't have the strength and the energy to fight that water. Because when you swimming, it's just you in the water.
It's you in the water, and you having the capability to be able to hold your breath underwater for periods of time. And I think that's one of the things when I try to teach a couple of young people on how to swim. And my thing is, first of all, you got to be not afraid of the water. You see
Number
us
one.
on top, and let's take you under so you can look around and say, okay, there's nothing else under here but some legs and some feet kicking, and here's the bottom. Let's go to the bottom and look up. How far is that? Now kick up to the top. So that only took a couple seconds, right? And that's where I kind of start people off. Now let's hold your breath. See how long you can hold your breath and stand here and look up. Okay, now you're a lot calmer. Now let's working on your stroke.
Yeah, the number one thing is you got to get over the fear of the water. No question. That's the key. I was a director of a sports program at a big YMCA in Dallas, and under my umbrella was the swimming pool. Wow. And the lifeguards and the swimming lessons and things of that nature. So we put on swim lessons, and and that's how my kids learned to swim at the Y. That's why my wife learned how to swim. But I was at the Y. She wasn't a swimmer. I grew up swimming, and so she took swimming lessons at the Y. That's how she learned how to swim.
Very interesting. I just signed C up for swimming lessons at the Y. I just got the membership down there.
Right, because you got to keep in mind the Y has taught more people to swim than any other organization in the history.
Wow, I might be making a stop over there today.
Yeah,
that's interesting. And now I know you know how to teach people how to swim, man. We might have to.
I didn't say I was a teacher. I said it was under my umbrella. I hired somebody to do the teaching.
Oh my word! You can swim though, right?
I can swim, yes.
Okay.
But I'm not a teacher of swimming. I'm not a swim teacher, because that's a skill that everybody don't have. Just because you know how to swim don't mean you know how to teach to swim.
Well, you can tell somebody, do this, try that. Here's what I do. My issue is treading water.
Yeah.
I'd rather hold my breath for 3 to 5 minutes underwater.
I can tread water. Treading water is not my issue. Turning over on my back and floating without sinking is a big issue.
Oh, that's easy. I think that's the easiest part of swimming, being on your
back.
back.
For you, treading water for me is the easiest.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I like to lay on my back and just kind of look up into the sky and just kind of just float there.
Right. So what do you think about diving?
I'm not the best diver. I don't like diving off the boards, but I'll dive off the side and look kind of awkward doing it.
Diving off the
I'll jump in.
Also, by the way, I did watch a little of the women's gymnastic trials. We got our gymnastic team all set. The ladies, man, we got Simone Biles is on there. Another young sister made the team also.
Amazing. When I watched that's scary to me.
I know it.
And the flips. Whew.
I tell you, on that balance beam, when they're up on that beam and that beam is only like 6 inches wide, right?
Oh my gosh. You ever, high school, college, ever go to the gym and mess with that stuff?
Yeah.
Beams and all that. You ever?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because when we did it, the beam was down on the floor. They had it down real low.
Right.
And so just to try to walk on the beam, knowing that you can't fall, because it's just, man, I don't know how in the world they get to the point where they can do all the flips and the splits and all that stuff.
Gosh. In my school days, we used to hang out at the gym, and I used to love the trampoline. I get on there and jump up to the ceiling. Love
Yeah,
that part of it. I love what's the one, the parallel.
yeah, parallel ball.
I could do that. I could do the flips off and all that stuff. One day I tried to do that horse, run up to it and do the
Oh
man,
yeah,
that thing flip and then hit my. I made it over, but I landed on the horse my back. So that's the last time I'll ever do anything like that again in my life.
oh man,
Last time I said I could have. That was it.
yeah,
Took my butt back over to the trampoline.
yeah. The side horse is that's tough because to get on there, you know, the men when they get on there and they going back and forth
And all that. Whew.
see, that's why I love the Olympics. There's so many different types of sports that people train for, and they put their time and energy into being the best at that particular thing. Man, that's amazing to me.
That's like not superhero stuff, but that's taking your body to such an extreme to be able to perform these things. That's like superhero stuff.
Right. And that's why Simone Biles, she almost didn't go for the Olympics this year after last year. That, you know, the Olympics were supposed to be last year. And so these athletes have been training for 2 and 3 and 4 years to get to the Olympics, and then they canceled the Olympics. Man, there was a lot of athletes that said, I don't know if I can do another year training, get my body back to that level again. It's hard.
Wow. I remember when they came out with the metric system way back when they tried to push that here in the US. I vetoed and I didn't run track one year. I'm like, I'm young. I'm like, what do I know about protesting? And I'm trying to protest the metric system in track and field.
But they kept it. That's why we run that's why they run the 100 meters.
That's why they run the 100 meters. That was a waste of time, huh?
Because back in the day, it was the 200, it was the 100-yard dash and the 200-yard dash in my day.
Right. Well, there you go.
Yeah, we used to run the 200 and the 220, the 440.
440, 110.
Yeah.
100, it was always 100 and 220 and 440.
Right.
Yep. Now 100 meters, 200 meters.
Well, no, when I was running, it was the 100-yard dash.
It was 100-yard dash, right?
Yeah.
So what is it now as far as
the 100 meters?
Right, that's what I say. It's 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters now.
Right. It used to be 100 yards, 200, 220, and the 440.
Hey, so is the 100 meters, is that 110 yards?
It's not 110 yards, but it's a little bit further than 100 yards. It's not 10 yards further, though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, boy, I'm having a little bit of issue.
That's all right. We still got you on sound. That's all right.
Right. Well, my iPad said, hey, you trying to run out of power over here.
But that don't mean the book is not open.
Oh, the book stays open, brother. We can open up the book at any time. Book is always in good shape.
Wow. So are you watching any of there was a clip on this guy practicing pole vaulting, and it didn't turn out too well for him. He went up and came right back down, like right where the pole stuck in.
Really?
Pole vault.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah. And there's a guy, as far as the athletics goes and the flips and the gymnastics, there's a guy, a YouTube guy, and he's doing some karate stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy is doing these flips with these swords. He's doing triple back flips and all this stuff. And it's like he can be in the Olympics and get something.
Right. Well, but it's got to be an Olympic event. You know, breakdancing is going to be an Olympic event this year.
Well,
see, I'm saying the Olympics are really getting away from what I remember the Olympics to be. If you put breakdancing as an Olympic sport, think about that.
That's where I got to get straight out of DC on here, and so he can get his breakdancing crew back together.
Yeah, where Lonnie at anyway?
He's pulling office duty today.
Okay.
There's a little bit too much commotion. He's pulling office duty, so he couldn't hop on today. We talked a little bit last night before the Hawks game.
So did Lonnie Did he run track with you and when y'all were in school?
He was a basketball player.
Okay, he played basketball.
Yeah. He played with me, Mo, and we played all about the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember if he did play.
I was just trying to. The reason I was asking, I was trying to figure out how he could have a top 5 NBA team without Michael Jordan on it. I was just kind of curious about that. No Michael Jordan and no LeBron James. I'm like,
I just erased it off the board too. I'm like,
I'm like, you got no Michael Jordan and no LeBron James.
Right.
You got Allen Iverson. You know,
at least AI.
AI is a great player, but I don't think you can find really anybody in the know that would say we're going to have a team without Michael Jordan, but we will have Allen Iverson. I think that's just a player that he really liked.
I think so.
And, yeah.
I think so. And I wanted to bring up what somebody asked a question and you asked us on a text about who would you rather been?
What career?
Yeah, what career? The Scottie Pippen or the
Kevin Durant?
Kevin Durant. And like I was saying, I was picking Pippen because I would be able to say that I actually played and helped Jordan win these championships. So when you're talking about Michael Jordan, you could throw my name in that mix because I did play with him and I helped him be who he was.
You can't talk about the Chicago Bulls winning 6 championships and not talk about Scottie Pippen.
There you go.
I mean, no matter what Mike did, it wouldn't have been enough without a Scottie Pippen.
So true. I'm sorry, I was looking at a message somebody sent about joining some group.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and I understand if you're looking at a complete offensive player, by far KD has better offensive skills. You know, he's 6'11", he can shoot the ball, he can do a lot of different things. But if you're looking at overall career, Scottie Pippen was voted one of the top 50 players of all time.
There you go.
And he won 6 championships. That's a pretty good resume.
Yeah, I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah. Now, you know, there was some little beef between Scottie and Kevin Durant. You heard about that, right?
Recently? Really?
Yeah, that's why I was asking the question, because Scottie Pippen made some kind of comment about Kevin Durant. He didn't rely on his team to help him when he went on that run, you know, when he was trying to pull it out by himself because Harden. And so Scottie Pippen came back. Durant came back at Scottie and said, "Is this the same Scott that refused to go in the game when he was the number 1 guy for the Bulls?" And, you know, so that started a little beef between the two of them, you know, and so that's why that question came up, you know, in terms of the 2 careers. But overall, you know, Scottie's career speaks for itself, but so does Kevin Durant. I mean,
so true.
He hadn't done anything to hurt his career.
No, I'm definitely a KD fan.
Now, I will tell you this. I think if KD had stayed at Golden State, they would have won some more championships.
I sure wish he would have stayed there.
I do too. I wanted him to stay also. Because, you know, when you're at Golden State, you're with a good organization, and the stars, they want you there. Now, him and my boy had a little beef when he was on the team.
Who, Steph?
No, not Steph, Draymond Green.
Oh, Draymond, okay.
You remember when Draymond and KD kind of got in back and forth shouting match and all that stuff. But see, that kind of stuff is supposed to fall by the wayside when you're trying to build your championship and your legacy.
Right.
So if you think if KD stays there and he ends up with 4 or 5 championships, man alive, you're going to be talking about him as one of the top 5 players of all time.
So true.
You know, and there's still people that may do that now when you think about it. But if I had to choose, I'd still take LeBron James
over everybody and anybody.
I don't know how you can deny him.
I like his activism.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I like his off the court actions when it comes to
Yeah,
defense. Of what's going on right now, and when you tell a guy like that shut up and dribble,
right. See, to
come on,
me,
man.
she
Come on,
was the one that messed that up
come
because
on,
she didn't. For her to say something about LeBron James and you don't know LeBron James, you don't know nothing that he has done,
come
you
on.
don't know what he has studied, you don't know anything about this man. And when you say shut up and dribble, that means that a person that's paying the kind of money that he pays into our system in terms of taxes,
Right.
you telling him he ain't got nothing to say. He shouldn't have nothing to say about what's going on in this country. Well, that's the whole idea behind our country. The way it's set up is that we have freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution.
Yes.
And guess what? I pay taxes. Because I pay taxes, I can have an opinion about anything. Just like the woman on television that said that. What gives you the right to say anything about what's going on and not him?
So
because
true.
the only thing that you got is a bully pulpit on television.
That's it.
Well, he got that. He got that with the NBA, but he paid more money in taxes than you do. So he should have more to say about it than you got.
Should have more taxes you pay, the more you should have to say.
Because this whole country was founded on taxation without representation. Because when we succeeded from over in Europe, in England, that's the reason that they started, because the king was steady taking taxes, but they didn't have no representation over in England. And so that's why they wanted to break away. And that's where the revolution started at. It's because of taxation without representation. So if I'm paying my taxes, I got plenty to say. How you gonna tell me to shut up and dribble? You just can't dribble. You just need to shut up.
See, that's why you see this man right here is called The Book is Open. You don't only get sports, you get history.
Hey, telling you how to, plus the fact that, think about this too. The reason that a lot of those guys didn't do none of this back in the past is because the life is not the same. With all the social media,
right?
And when you guarantee the guy $35 million, I don't care what he says, you ain't gonna put him off your team because you still gotta pay him that $35 million. So the folks that got money, white folks, they ain't gonna put nobody off the team because they said they had a social media or something like that. Because if you do, wherever he go, he's still getting that money. Once you sign him to that contract, he's getting that money.
Getting that money. Now he really has something to say about you too.
Right. Yeah. So for her to come up with some stuff about shut up and dribble, I like to ask her, what do you know?
Right.
How do you don't know anything about LeBron James. You don't know if he studied the issues. You don't know any of those things. All you doing is, because he played basketball, that must mean that he's dumb. And see, that's what white folks think a lot of the times, is because you're an athlete, you don't have a life outside of athletics. You don't think about other things. You're not well read. You're not well spoken. You're not well educated because you play basketball. That don't mean anything. That I play basketball, but I still got other things that I do too.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Just because you play athletics don't mean you don't have a mind and you
right.
have a voice.
Yeah.
So true. So true. So on that note, we were running about an hour.
All right.
Man, this was my fast.
It did, didn't it?
Man, and this is how we started off.
Just me and you.
Just me and you. The book is open. Man, I appreciate you, man. Still moving forward. We want to thank everybody who hopped on. If you watch later on, make your comments. Go ahead and hop on to Kurtic Inc. or hit me up when you see me posted on my Facebook page, and make comments on what you think that we're saying. Or I know the book is right, but like I always say, you can come on and say, Curtis, you're completely wrong, and you do not know what you're talking about. I kept up a little bit today, a whole lot better. But
you can say that about the book too, but just have something to back it up when you do.
Oh, there you go. Have some backing, y'all. You better have some backing.
Gotta have some backup, yes.
This is Sports Talk with the Attitude with Kurt the Armchair QB and Ralph. The book is open, Booker. We want to thank you all for tuning in. We're looking forward to seeing you guys here Friday, 11 o'clock. We're going to be on Friday 11?
Friday 11.
Friday, 11 o'clock. Join us here. Hop on in. If somebody wants to be a guest, reach out to one of us. We're gonna filter you. We're gonna interview you. See if you're ready to be on Sports Talk with Attitude.
Right, with attitude.
You gotta have an attitude. Come on and disagree with me. Let's get it. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.